wanted to catch up with Sam Barker from Cambridge, who we spoke to a little bit earlier on in the year. You might remember Sam's story. He's in his mid-30s, a father of 2 young children, and Sam was diagnosed in February with late-stage bowel cancer. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Dottie.
Now, we spoke to you a little bit earlier in the year when some mates of yours, they did what? They were journeying down from Cumbria or Yorkshire, weren't they?
Yeah, a friend of mine runs a plant nursery up in Cumbria, and he came to ground force my garden, and he turned up with a couple of mates in tow, one from Bristol, a couple from Edinburgh, a few from Cambridge, and they over 2 days they turned our garden into a bit of a wilderness into something really amazing with raised beds and a new shed and plants as far as the eye can see, really.
And is it still looking ship-shape?
It looks great, yeah. We put a snowman in it with the kids, which was fun. The last vestiges of him are just melting away. And I think come the summer, it'll be an amazing place. But even now, it's very nice to look out on.
Yeah, lovely. A lovely thing for them to do. You had your diagnosis in February. What's the latest in terms of your health, Sam?
The good news is it's a realistic expectation for me to still be around next Christmas. So that's sort of what we're holding on to. I have a little bit of a break from chemotherapy, and they're just going to monitor the cancer. It's still there. And as soon as it starts growing again, we'll go back into chemotherapy. So we're sort of living with it, but it's nice that I can enjoy Christmas. And they said I can drink my usual amount over Christmas. So that's really good.
Does a landmark like Christmas, a kind of a big event, I suppose, an annual event, has it made you sort of question how many Christmases you have got left? I mean, it sounds like it has in some sense.
Yeah, it's Christmas is a funny time. My wife's birthday is Christmas Day as well, and my little boy's birthday is a couple of days after Christmas. So there's a lot going on. And you do think, how many of these am I going to be around for? We're taking my daughter down to the ballet in London after Christmas to sort of see that. I think it's one of the things the difficult thing I realised a couple of months ago is that you can't fit 18 years worth of Christmases into one Christmas, and the kids aren't going to enjoy going to, too many pantomimes just because I want to try and have as many Christmases as I can. But we just got to enjoy the Christmas that's ahead of us. The funny thing about actually Christmas is singing the Christmas carols. You realise a lot of them have they've got a bit of death to them as well. When the kings brought that myrrh, that is saying to Jesus, "Oh, you're going to die. You are going to die one day." And there's that underbelly of Christmas that death is part of life. So it's been interesting doing that as well.
And we've been talking about the kind of emotional support that's available to people who are going through what you've been going through. You mentioned carols there. I believe your faith is quite a key part of the support that you receive.
Yeah, it's been. There's two bits to that. I think I believe in God, and actually reading my Bible and looking at Jesus. There's a man there who kind of went through life knowing that at the end he'd die, and I sort of feel actually I can have my prayers and I can say to the Lord, "Oh, you know what I've been through," and we can kind of talk about that and be open about that. But also actually just the church community in Cambridge. We go to Holy Trinity Church here, and they've just been amazing. My wife was saying last night, for the first month of my diagnosis, we didn't cook a meal. People just turned up every evening with something to eat, and people have looked after us, and they've also really looked after our children as well, and just been there for them. So it's been an amazing part of the support. And actually, there's kind of the professional end of that too. So when I was in hospital, I was in hospital for 2 weeks. I had a sort of emergency operation, and at the beginning of this, and the chaplains came and saw me. And actually, my wife went down to see the chaplaincy team there at Addenbrooke's, and they were absolutely fantastic. And they, whether you've got a faith or no faith, they just deal with this stuff every day, and they're good and there for you.
And have there been other organisations that have helped? We heard earlier on about the Hunts Community Cancer Network. Have you looked for other support within the community, or?
Yeah, we've definitely looked around. There's a Macmillan stand in Addenbrooke's Hospital, which is where I'm having my treatment. And again, we went and talked to them very early on, and they've been really good. They've helped me with some benefits forms, and they've helped advise us on our finances. They have someone who covers East of England, so I think she's based in Suffolk, but she kind of comes over and sits down with you. And they have a kind of telephone helpline as well, so some really expert stuff. And then on the Addenbrooke site, there's a charity called Maggie's, which they just sort of provide nice spaces in hospital. And and they've got sort of professional services there as well. So I saw a psychiatrist early on, and I was just working out whether I was coping with the diagnosis, and sat down and chatted with him, and he was really helpful. And turns out I was coping, so it was nice.
That must have been good news.
It was good news. And they do bits of counselling, and they do support on benefits and things as well. But they also, it's a nice room in Addenbrooke's, and we often go there. Friends of ours who've been through breast cancer actually said, we used to go there and detox, and actually just after my chemo, I'll sort of pop in there, see who's around, have a cup of tea, have a bit of a chat, and just it's a place, I think, like on that piece before, being with other people with cancer, you can just sort of relax and talk about what you want to talk about, and whether that's talking about the cancer or talking about something completely inconsequential. They've been really good, and they've also helped me. I think one of the early conversations I had with them, I said I've got to go and see my doctor and talk to him, and I want to sort of work out what do I want to ask about the sort of late stages of this, like when it comes to death, what will that be like? And they were just very good at helping me kind of work through that conversation, and what did I want to know and what didn't I want to know, and what questions would I want to ask. So real skill there. So.
And how are you feeling day to day, Sam?
Just good, really.
You feel okay?
We went to Munich for the weekend. So we're getting out and about. My wife grew up a bit in Munich and wanted to go and see the Christmas markets with me. So we sort of went and did that, and I could walk around for about 3 hours, and then I had to go back for a nap, and then do a bit more walking. But I managed to have plenty of Glühwein and a couple of steins of beer, and I think we cry a bit. We got round to watching the Strictly final last night, and I think the moving bit there was Debbie McGee saying, "Oh, after Paul died, I lost a lot of my confidence," and we both burst into tears at that bit. But then we laugh a lot. And then, as I say, I've got 2 young children, and bath time has to be done, and potty training has to be done, and meals have to get on the table, and life just continues very normally. So I think it's sometimes a bit of an emotional coaster, sometimes very normal. And again, with my faith, I've got that sort of confidence that I don't know where I'm going in the long term, and so we just take each day and enjoy it as it comes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, life goes on, as you say, and it sounds like you are living, Sam. Thank you so much for talking to me this morning. Take care, won't you?
Thanks very much, Dottie, and just thanks to all the professionals who support people with cancer across the county, both in the NHS and in the volunteer bodies. They just do amazing work. Yeah,
and from everyone listening, just to hope that you and your family have a brilliant Christmas. I really do.
Thanks, and you.
Sam Barker there from Cambridge, who is young dad, mid-30s, father of 2, had that diagnosis of late-stage bowel cancer in February. Nice to catch up with him this morning.